Almost say goodbye to your industry if we do get coffee rust. There's a few provisos in there, but I took this photo in Brazil, and that's how it starts on the underside of the leaves. And you see the devastation that it causes, and despite all the spraying in the world, you'll never eradicate it. It's a matter of minimising the spread, but there is some hope, and I think we're on the right track with that. So just I did rate them like that show on TV, the most dangerous 60 pests, but this is coffee rust is the worst one. It started in 1869, although there's reference in Ceylon 1849 it was reported, but that's when it started. 1970 it was in Brazil, 76 in Central America, 86 in PNG, and it was thought that 3 MPs returning home from a conference in Nairobi brought seed in from Nairobi and spread it there. It's now in Norfolk Island, which is not far away. Yeah. That was a survey done recently, and they found the rust spores there. So with Australia, it's a matter of when, not if, we're going to get the infection here. There's no doubt that the spores have come into Australia before, but they do have to find the right conditions for spread, and they are pretty specific. And coffee rust only affects coffee. It's not like the myrtle rust, which is across many crops. Just on that myrtle rust too, that was an example of a pest that came into the Central Coast into a nursery. It was reported, and I'll come to it later, but unless you act on it early, it's gone. And now it's right up through Queensland, everywhere. So, particularly with rust, as Rebecca says, it's very, very difficult to control. The spread is, they summarise a bit, but these are the old spores, and they can be spread. The spores have been found up in high altitude, 5,000, 10,000 feet, so they can go from continent to continent. The young spores, they're on the infested coffee trees, and they spread through rain. So the favourable conditions for both of those is rain, high temperatures and humidity. So we have an advantage here that we do have, like now, protracted dry periods, and we do have a cool winter, so it's not likely to be as dramatic as in the tropics, in the lowlands of the tropics.
Sorry, David.
Yeah.
Those are favourable conditions for the spore to germinate?
To germinate.
So it can sit dormant for a while.
That's right, it can sit. I'll come to that.
So old spores are still viable?
The spores, you never get rid of them. The old spores, they have a short life, the soft spore, the young spores, but the old ones, I've got a quote from a publication there that says that the old spores, you can never be sure that you've finally got rid of the old spores. They can last forever in that dormant state. So,
E.g. on coffee beans.
E.g. on coffee beans. That's the place where they're most likely to stay, and they can be there for years. So it's
the same as bacterial spores, isn't it? They're just
bacterial spores are they're usually more susceptible to dehydration, but the rust is really, so exclusion and resistant varieties are really our only chance. Inspection on entry is a bit of a joke, because you can't see the spores anyway, so you either have to irradiate or fumigate the coffee seed. But grower education on detection is something we really have to concentrate on here, because unless we find the first infections very early and destroy them, the horse is bolted. But we do have to, if we do have to control any of these pests with pesticides, our disease-free status and the whole image is going to go out the window pretty well. So we do have to try and educate ourselves and keep these diseases out. So resistant varieties is our best hope, not only for coffee range. So this is the second of the most dangerous and the most likely one to come in, I guess. Is the coffee berry borer. It's one that can be detected at the border. It also infests maize, pigeon peas, peanuts and cotton, so it has a wide host range. The closest infestation is PNG. It's spread in infested seed, also machinery and clothing, and it can fly long distances by wind. So exclusion by vigilance of inspections at the port of entry is really the best chance of preventing it, and also fumigation. Do you know what countries compulsory fumigation or irradiation occurs? I know they have to do that Antesia cloak from Brazil, but that was a fumigation with methyl bromide, but I think that changed.
I'd say Hawaii would. I think Hawaii would be likely.
You do have a chapter in your book advice
It's very much a risk-based process.
Yeah.
And they rate different countries what the level of inspection is.
Yeah.
And I think even not everything is inspected.
No, that's true.
But I think certain countries, everything is fumigated, isn't it, from certain countries because of the risk of some harm.
No,
Actually.
no, we just had an incident. We've got a sealed package of seed imported from Colombia, and it hadn't been opened, so it had not been inspected. It arrived in Joss's letterbox. So
there is also the potential, so that might be a standard for a country that everything is fumigated if it's coming from that country, but then certain producers can get on pathways. So if they have 5 inspections in a row where they've had absolutely no pests, then they get an accelerated pathway, and it's not until then the pest is found that they're then off that pathway and have to get another 5.
And so many roasters now are direct importing, aren't they? So the risk is much less.
And it does tend to a little bit to depend on what the importer actually says is coming in. So we had an incident in Colstas recently where there was a piece of machinery brought into a blueberry growers, and they said it was new. Anyway, on the right end, bugs came out because it wasn't new, it had been refurbished. So it kind of is a bit of that dependent on that.
that's what happens on paper and what is practically verifiable, 2 different things. I'll keep going.
And again, there's only so many staff that can't check absolutely everything coming in, which is why we rely on shared responsibility to then go, well, we just all had bugs fly out of this container. Someone come check it out.
Yeah, I know in bananas they 1 in 600 inspections. So if there's 600 containers come in, they inspect 1 out of the 600. And I went to New Zealand on this banana import from Philippines thing. I went down to the wharf and I won't tell you what I did, but I had a look at what came in and I took a carton away and I found scale and stuff that's... Anyway, what happens on the paper is 2 different things.
So just going back with the borer, so that will most likely come in on green bean.
Yes.
Green bean.
Yeah.
It's not on bags, or there's no eggs or anything on bags, or...
The most likely, it's in the bean itself and it hatches out of the bean.
Hawaii was free of it until a few years ago.
Yeah.
And it came in from green bean imported into Hawaii.
Yeah. So I mean, Hawaii is a good template for us, really.
Yeah.
They were claiming freedom from everything now. Okay, this is, Joss is probably better to explain these 2 pests. He's been following up on the Xylella, which is coffee leaf scorch. Again, it has a wide host range. It's on all these crops. It's in Australia.
They are different strains, though, so there'll be different
Yeah.
strains for different. So it's not necessarily that the one that's affecting almonds will spread to coffee. Some of them are the same, some of them are different.
Because that's
It's really not so much an issue for our industry as a pest that would affect our industry, but coffee plants transported from continent to continent have been the mechanism to move that around.
Yeah. And I don't know whether
Went from South America to Europe on coffee plants.
right.
The other thing too is that some of these diseases can evolve. So it might come in and it's affected by a certain pest, but then another pest will pick it up, and then all of a sudden it's on a new host because in the country it came from they didn't have that pest that fed on those two pests. So
Just
new situations can change things as well.
back on the coffee rust. When I started looking at it 30 odd years ago, there was 8 strains of coffee rust. Then there was up to 30. Now there's 40 strains of coffee rust. So you might have resistance to a certain strain, and the strain changes, and all of a sudden that variety is susceptible. So you've really got to get that gene for resistance in your varieties. So, do you want to say anything about this, or is it Phomopsis, or is it Ceratocystis? Ceratocystis, yeah. And it spreads, it has a wide host range, and it can be spread on machinery and infected through tree roots.
It's basically the issue that I've had on my plantation.
So it's a fungus, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
But, so infected machinery and wounds after pruning in trees that are struggling can fall victim to this. And I think the real interesting thing is that it's a fungus that's widespread in the environment.
Yeah, it's endemic. And it's really a saprophyte, isn't it? It lives in it from the floor of the rainforest, but it can be spread and becomes active when you find a weak tree and damage to that tree. So it enters through the machine.
Or rats.
Or rats. Or
I think
maggots.
it was rats.
Rats, yeah. I think the most dangerous list is coffee berry disease, which would be very dangerous or damaging if it got here, but it's not likely to come in and won't be carrying the seed. It'll be on berries or on infected planting material, so it's probably a low priority for entry, but if it got here, it has potential for establishment and spread would be really high. So it's spread by insects, infected planting material, and coffee pickers. We do have Cercospora leaf spot, which can produce similar symptoms to this on the berries, but it's by no means as damaging as this. So there are many more pests and diseases affecting coffee overseas, and I must acknowledge Professor Andre Brent has reviewed all the stuff that I provided, and he said he's been a member of our workshop team, biosecurity team, and he said most of the other pests are annoying, but you can manage them, whereas the ones that I've described before, I don't know how we're going to control or eradicate them. But if you have to apply pesticides, it's not only costly, but it'll threaten your disease-free status. And this is a really, really critical point. Rebecca was talking about report these pests to who? Yeah, but to who? Like pathology expertise. I mean, if we have to go to Orange for pathology, and where's the expertise in coffee? We do have it at the Eco Sciences Precinct in Brisbane, but those people are busy with high priority crops, and coffee really, we're getting Andre Brent to help us because he loves coffee. But it's not a formal paid arrangement.
So this is, there is a standard national number. It's Exotic Plant Pest Hotline. It's on a bunch of resources I've given you. It's in your books as well. And that is a national number that will take you, so if you have no idea who to call that number. In New South Wales, that number comes to my team. We then, so yes, I'm in Orange. I don't know anything about coffee. I'm not going to come out here and have a look at the test for you. But we do have local research officers, so we've got our DPI that's down in Moomba, and then we have our local land services as well.
There's no
In terms
pathology.
of that expertise, so those people will come out if they think it's good, they'll get a sample, and then that gets sent in order to a diagnostic laboratory, whichever they think is best or who has the best. So this is where then, under the emergency plant pest response stage, the industry, the state governments, the federal governments are coordinated. So on those, and the pest needs to be identified by 2 labs to be, so if we send it to our diagnostic lab in New South Wales and they say, oh, looks like we've got coffee berry borer, that they can start acting on that or quarantining, but to actually then have a full-scale response and eradication, it needs to be confirmed by a second lab. Because we don't want to start running out coffee plants if the second lab goes, actually, no, you got your diagnostic wrong. And underneath that D2 is owner reimbursement costs. So when I say looking out coffee plants, there is if you're trying to stop something from spreading to destroy the whole industry, that is potentially an option, and that's what's happened with Panama, with bananas. The only thing you can do is rip out a zone around with the disease and not plant anything there. Under an official response, that is covered under the emergency plant pest response stage, and that crop, the future crops that you would have got from those plants, there's a massive calculation that goes into reimbursing that.
It's also showing the game. I mean, if you get people who suspect something and they want to know who to report it to, we have a deficiency of qualified plant pathologists in Australia. We used to have one at Alstonville and Wallenbar.
We do.
Now we've got none.
Yes.
So
Yeah, now, well, I'm kind of new. I've come down from biosecurity Queensland and I'm new to this kind of area. But that, what I was talking about earlier when that piece of machinery came in, I was actually able to get fairly decent photos then and almost have that identified that afternoon as to not being exotic. I have since now actually, they've supplied me with like a little microscope that I can take much better photos, and so from the instance of actually getting that possibly exotic, those photos, there's somebody that's available in most occasions to get it to. So, within hours, they pretty much told me that it wasn't an exotic termite. So
for something like a rust or something like a coffee berries or they would take a sample. And that's it, it's time, but in that time, we're not going to shut you down based on an assumption, but every situation is different. So, and it's also then that the national management group that convenes to discuss situations like this has industry representatives, state representatives, so everyone has a say in what actions will be taken. So I can't say what we would do because it's not up to me,
I
it's
get
up
your
to the group.
Rebecca, I should have told you this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not a member of Plant Health
You're not
Australia.
like
So we're not part of the emergency disease response issue
national management group.
management group. So if we phone up and say, you'll say, oh, so what? You're on your own.
No, we'll decide what to do. It just means
Yeah.
that you have.
We
They consult, but you don't have official representation at the table. If they decide to do something and you don't agree with it.
And the reason we chose not to do that is just because of the enormous expense involved joining Plant Health Australia and then becoming part of the D.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite a large expense that our industry, being so small, could not afford. So I guess we've just taken the decision that we've stopped there.
Well, and you can.
If we got coffee leaf roast, it will wipe the industry out anyway.
Yeah. Well,
It's a chance we take.
it is fine to that extent as well. It depends on what you think your risks are. Some industries want to be so involved and they don't want anyone to make decisions without them. But in essence, we're here, we have our jobs to protect our state industry. That's what we're trying to do. So no one's they'll still do their best to protect and they will consult them.
But there wouldn't be any compensation.
Oh. And so then it would go to the state government and the federal government because there's still option for compensation. It's not legalised under the deed, though it's up to the government
They're
to
lobbying-
decide if they want to compensate.
They're lobbying for a plant pathologist to be established at Wollongbar, and hopefully that'll come out. So if the Coffee Association can add some support, it'd be really good. Because it's a small industry, and small and big industries start off as small ones. So.
Do you know who would be asking for that, so they could contact us
Yeah.
and write a supportive letter?
Yeah, Matt Wynn has been pushing it,
Okay.
so you know Matt.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll
And
give it
he's been the main driver. Yeah. So what you can do individually and through ASCA, this is what we're going to be dealing with today, so I won't stir you thunder.
Excuse me, David, have we got these printed out, these notes? They're not in the booklet?
No, that's not in the book. I've got a hard copy printed out here, but I've got it on a USB stick, and anyone who wants it, or I've got it on an email too, I can just send it.
Okay.
So what's relevant to me? Oh, this here. This trial that we're starting at Alsterville is a bit of a concern to me because we're importing, as Josh said, rust-susceptible varieties. But my advice would be to import only rust-resistant varieties now, which contain the rust-resistant gene, and that is varieties like Castillo from Colombia and Icatu from Brazil. There are others as well, but I just think if we import varieties like Montenegro is so susceptible to coffee rust, you've only got to get a little infection, goes unnoticed, and bang, you've lit up the whole place.
And that's why Alicia's here today. Because the trial site at Alsterville poses a huge potential risk to the industry. So it's really incumbent on SCU to have a really tight biosecurity plan and effect perimeters around that.
But it's a general biosecurity duty for you and me as well, Alicia and
Anyone visiting
will. Yeah, but, and if you do suspect something, if you want to confirm, just give us a yell, we can get it, help you out, because we don't want it to start there, because it'll be immediate destruction of those plants and probably the whole trial site. So we need to nominate and support the diagnostic services. That's where if you can get on to getting a plant pathologist here, it would be very helpful. Southern Cross, I asked Professor Graham King about getting a pathology service at Southern Cross, and that's not on the agenda, sticking to the genetic stuff. So it's a bit of a weak point at the moment.
There's no easy test for coffee rust.
No.
You know, you can't just dunk the bag and it turns purple.
No. This is, I just finished last slide when I left Brazil last, and before coming back to Hawaii or Australia, I had to leave all my field clothes and my boots and hat in the motel room. You can't bring them back. It's not only, you might think that's a bit of a overkill, but it's not, because you don't know where the spores are. If you've been in the field, you're going to have spores on you. Okay, that's all I have. Questions?
Just when he's talking about reporting,
Yep.
Obviously it's with your neighbours too. You know, I've got this problem, check it out, etc. And also I was thinking there's a lot of wild coffee around too, around the place, you know, like, and so you might need to check that as well. It's in your vicinity. It's, you know, it's all sorts of possibilities, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of, in the travel, seen a lot of wild coffee around in backyards, and I always have a look. You see plenty of Secostra, but there's been nothing yet. But I think this publication you've produced now, that little leaflet is really good, and getting through to the green bean importers is fantastic. But it's just about talking to people. You've got a coffee tree in your backyard, you know, and just give them one of those leaflets. And if you're getting half serious about knowing your coffee diseases, this is a publication, Compendium of Coffee Disease and Pests, written in 2015 in Colombia by plant-pathologists, and it's really well illustrated, explains how everything spreads and what to look for, and good pictures of everything. So I thoroughly recommend that. If the association wants to contact Andre Brent, they can get them in from Colombia. Josh? Yep.
No, on Amazon.
Hmm?
You can't get them from that.
I don't know.
No, I bought mine online.
Did you?
Yep.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. That's really vital.
Useful little